Cheering for something you believe in can be done in more than one way. James Meier exemplifies that. A fan of Marquette athletics, he can be found traveling the country to cheer on the men's basketball team from the sidelines. But he's also been investing in the future of Marquette students for years with his time, talent, and treasure.
He's given to Marquette athletics in a number of ways during his time, at least since I've been here. You know, he certainly supports our basketball program through an endowed scholarship, and that's probably what most people know him for. But he's also provided an estate gift. When we decided to build the seasonal dome to provide some indoor training space, he was one of the folks we called. He immediately said, yes, I'll help. So he's just one of those go-to guys that every athletic department needs to have, and he's at the top of that list.
I don't think I've met very many people that care as much about not only the basketball program, but the entire athletic program as a whole. Obviously, he takes a special interest in the men's basketball program, but he very much interacts with a lot of the student athletes and interacts with the program as a whole.
Jim's love for Marquette athletics dates back to his time as a Marquette student. According to Jim, he selected Marquette for two reasons: Jesuit plus liberal arts broad-based curriculum. Jim graduated from the College of Business Administration in 1984 and took his accounting skills to Ernst & Young, where he worked as an auditor. Jim also spent time with Philip Morris before excelling in his current position as Senior Director of Marketing and Finance at Miller Coors. Excited by the trip to the Final Four in 2003, Jim looked into becoming a season ticket holder. A few conversations led him to another decision: to support student athletes. He did so in a big way by establishing the James M. Meier Athletic Scholarship Endowment Fund for men's basketball in 2005. At the time, it was only the 14th endowed scholarship for student athletes provided by an individual or organization outside of the university. Today, there are nearly 80.
With him being, as generous and providing me with that scholarship, it means the world to me. There's no other place I'd rather be than Marquette, and I feel like being at Marquette has opened up so many doors for me throughout the rest of my life that, I can never repay him for what he's done.
Jim also works to inspire others to give to Marquette. Jim is part of a dedicated leadership team that has helped reshape the Blue and Gold Fund auction, raising more than $1.5 million for scholarships over the past 3 years. Jim's commitment to Marquette goes beyond athletics. He's known for his open-door policy, mentoring students and providing job shadowing opportunities. He served on his reunion committee, was a past host of Chicago Circles, and is a frequent attendee of Chicago alumni events. Jim dedicates his time to mentoring and assisting students in the College of Business Administration, as well as serving on the college's Employer Advisory Board.
Jim has been involved with the Business Career Center Employer Advisory Board since it began several years ago, and early on we had more of a committee structure, and he was a very active participant in a committee focusing on feedback for student readiness and workplace needs for new talent. And he's been a real advocate for Marquette within the Miller Coors organization to help us navigate and stay connected with their targeted recruitment. And then he's just an extremely generous volunteer. That desire to be helpful and the action that backs it up is just so consistent with the way we've gotten to work with him through that advisory board.
Jim Meier actually helped me land one of my first jobs, not my first job, but one of my first jobs. I was actually in the middle of my MBA program and joined the marketing finance team at Miller Coors. Since then, he's always been a mentor to me, someone I've looked up to, whether it's in a personal, professional relationship, someone I've always kind of watched and kind of tried to mimic his actions and kind of bring in what he does into what I do on a professional basis.
Teamwork, collaboration, empathy, and respect for different points of view and disciplines. These are the lessons Jim says he draws on in life. You might tuck these aside for a while, Jim says, but eventually you realize you need them.
What thrills me about Jim is it's also purely driven. It's not for personal recognition. It has nothing to do with making Jim Meier feel better. It's all about what can I do to make Marquette a better place. And somebody who's that purely motivated in terms of their support for a program, you don't see that every day, and in that regard, he's a really special individual.
For all his contributions to Marquette and his commitment to its students, the Marquette University Alumni Association proudly presents the 2017 Service to Marquette Award to James M. Meier.